Hey friends, welcome back to the podcast. I'm James, and today we're talking about something that's part of every human experience. Something that sometimes hurts, sometimes embarrasses us, but always teaches us if we let it. Mistakes. You know those moments when you look back and think, I can't believe I did that, or you wish you could just erase what happened? We've all been there. But what if, and hear me out, what if mistakes aren't actually bad? What if they're the exact things that push us to grow, learn, and become who we're meant to be? That's what this episode is all about. How to turn mistakes into lessons and lessons into wisdom. Because your mistakes don't define you. How you respond to them does. Let's start with the truth. Mistakes are part of being human, period. From the moment you learned to walk, you fell. You stood up, you fell again. Nobody said, "You're bad at walking." They said, "You'll get it." And that's the essence of learning. Whether you're learning English, starting a new job, or just figuring out life, you're supposed to fall a few times. That's how you learn balance. But somewhere along the way, society taught us to fear mistakes, to hide them, to pretend we're perfect. Let's break that cycle today. Think back to when you were in school. Remember that feeling when the teacher asked a question and you thought you knew the answer, but you didn't raise your hand because you were afraid of being wrong? That fear stays with us as adults. We stop trying new things. We stay safe. We avoid risk. But guess what? Safe doesn't help you grow. The truth is, fear of mistakes is really fear of judgment, fear that people will think less of us. But here's something powerful. People are too busy worrying about their own mistakes to care about yours. So next time you mess up, remind yourself, everyone's figuring it out as they go. You're not behind, you're human. Let's look at some real stories, because sometimes we forget that the people we admire failed a lot. Walt Disney was fired from a newspaper job for lacking creativity. Albert Einstein didn't speak fluently until he was 9 and was told he'd never amount to much. Oprah Winfrey was told she wasn't fit for television. Michael Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team. But they didn't stop. They learned. They adjusted. They tried again. When you see successful people, you're only seeing the highlight reel, not the thousands of behind-the-scenes mistakes that built their success. So next time you fall short, remember, every legend started as a learner. Let's get a bit scientific for a minute. When you make a mistake, your brain lights up. It literally fires more neurons than when you get something right. That's called the error-related positivity effect. Your brain detects the error, pays attention, and tries to correct it next time. That's how mastery is formed. Repetition, error, correction, improvement. So, instead of saying, "I failed," start saying, "My brain just got smarter." That's not motivation fluff. It's neuroscience. Okay, now let's go practical. How do we actually turn a mistake into a lesson? Here's my Reframe method, a 7-step process that transforms any failure into fuel for growth. R, recognize it. Don't deny it. Don't hide from it. Just say, "Yes, that happened." E, examine. Ask, what exactly went wrong? What led to this? Be curious, not judgmental. F, feel it. Give yourself permission to feel disappointed. You're human. Just don't live there. R, reflect. What can I learn? What will I do differently next time? A, adjust. Make one small change. Improve your system, your habits, your preparation. M, move on. Forgive yourself. Growth doesn't happen when you keep replaying the past. E, empower. Share what you learned. Teach someone else. When you turn pain into purpose, you reclaim power. Let's bring this closer to something many of you are doing, learning a language. Every time you mispronounce a word, forget a phrase, or use the wrong tense, you're not failing, you're training. Remember how babies learn? They babble nonsense for months. Parents don't say, "Oh no, that's wrong." They smile, encourage, and celebrate. That's how you should treat yourself. Here's a tip. Record yourself speaking. Listen back. Laugh at the mistakes. Then fix them. Every recording will sound better than the last. Learning a language is messy, but that's what makes it beautiful. You know what's really hard? Not just making a mistake, but what happens after. The overthinking, the self-blame, the "why did I do that" voice. Here's how you handle it. Pause. Don't react instantly. Breathe. Your body needs calm before clarity. Write. Get the thoughts out of your head and onto paper. Reframe. Ask, what would I say to a friend in this situation? Then say that to yourself. Mistakes don't define you. Recovery does. Let's talk about mindset again, the growth mindset. If you see mistakes as disasters, you'll quit. If you see them as data, you'll grow. Every failure is feedback. It tells you what to adjust, not that you should stop. Let me tell you about Laura. She wanted to start her own business. Her first online store failed miserably. She lost money, felt embarrassed, and almost gave up. But instead of quitting, she studied what didn't work: pricing, marketing, communication. A year later, she launched again. This time, she succeeded. Same person, different mindset. Here's something deeper. Mistakes show us who we are. They reveal what we value, what we fear, what we still need to work on. If you overreact to small errors, maybe perfectionism is your teacher. If you keep repeating the same mistake, maybe patience is. Mistakes are mirrors, not enemies. They show you where growth is calling your name. Let's add one powerful habit: reflection. At the end of each week, ask yourself, what went well? What didn't? What did I learn? You'll start to see patterns. You'll recognize progress, and you'll stop fearing mistakes because they'll become part of your personal growth story. All right, friends, you know what time it is. It's challenge time. Here's your 7-day mistake challenge. Each day this week, notice one small mistake. Write down what you learned. End the note with, "Thank you for this lesson." By the end of the week, you'll have 7 lessons. 7 reminders that every mistake you made you stronger. So let's wrap this up with one truth I want you to carry forward. Mistakes don't break you, they build you. Every time you fail, you're getting feedback, not a final grade. Every time you fall, you're being shaped into a wiser version of yourself. You can choose to let mistakes stop you, or you can use them as stepping stones. Because in the end, success is not about being perfect. It's about being persistent. So the next time you make a mistake, don't hide from it. Smile, breathe, and ask, what is this trying to teach me? That's where your power is. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. If today's message inspired you, please like, share, and subscribe for more. And remember, mistakes are not failures. They're feedback from life, guiding you toward your best self.